Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for May 2022. So welcome to May. We are shifting into a brand new life lesson, a brand new chapter, entering into brand new topics and themes surrounding the number 5. 5, of course, is the heart chakra. It really does kind of represent the heart and soul of the zodiac, very connected to Leo energy in the zodiac. This is definitely going to give us an opportunity to be authentic, to let those guards down around that heart space, to let in new love, new playful energies, to unlock a different level of creativity, and definitely get real with some of the weight that we've been carrying in our heart space for far too long. One of the golden rules as you move through the month of May is to focus on what it is that your heart is asking you to do instead of listening to what your ego wants you to do. This is how we get in alignment. We are entering into the month of May in eclipse season, in retrograde season. And we are definitely going to have a lot to revisit, a lot to review, a lot to revise, and a lot of reorganizing and recalibration that is going to be needed throughout the month of May. Coming into May, we are still very much in this new moon solar eclipse energy in Taurus that we just experienced on April 30th. And of course, the day before we had Pluto go retrograde and Mercury take its place of power in Gemini. On the very first day of May, we are under the very, very intense celebration energy of our Gaelic ancestors. Beltane is a very high vibrational frequency celebrating the halfway point between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. Back in the day, and even today, there are a whole lot of people giving thanks, celebrating, honoring the earth, really putting out some wishes, some prayers in order to protect the land, to protect the cattle, to protect our food sources. And with certain situations unfolding here on planet Earth, wouldn't be a bad thing to do just to take a moment out of your day to give a little sign up to the cosmos, to the universe, and really ask for the same kind of safety, protection, and security when it comes to our food sources. A lot of our land and resources are being disrupted at this time. Of course, there's talk of food shortages that unfortunately are going to come true under this evil, dark agenda. So it wouldn't hurt whether you're in alignment with this belief system or not to tap into the high vibrational energy of the day. Give a little shout out to the cosmos for that energy to protect us and to continue to provide for us. On the 2nd, we have Venus entering into Aries. Now, Venus has done a little bit of a number in Piscean energy. She is exalted there, but that was very much focused on dreams, imagination, creativity. We have been doing a deep dive in our self-worth, in what it is that we value within ourselves. Venus, of course, being very focused on love and relationships and money and joy and pleasure, she had a lot of undoing to do in Piscean energy. Now that she's entering into Aries, we get a little bit of fire back, a little bit of a spark back. Passions and desires are definitely going to rise to the surface. We're going to be a little bit more direct, a little bit more straightforward in expressing ourselves, especially when it comes to what it is that we are and are not willing to tolerate in a certain relationship dynamic. We're definitely seeing Venus step into her power. She very much ruled over this new moon in Taurus, the solar eclipse that we are still under the influence of at the beginning of the month. And of course, we are just continuing the story of her rulership under the full moon in Libra a couple of weeks ago that illuminated for us where things weren't fair in our personal relationship dynamics and what it is that we need to do to not only find stability, but to find emotional safety and security, to find that peace, to find that balance back once again. Now that Venus is moving into the headstrong, beginning, sparking energy of Aries, you best believe we are going to have our sights set on a particular goal, on a particular path, and we are going to do what is necessary in order to align with that. On the 3rd, we have Jupiter sextiling Pluto. This is a very interesting dynamic. Pluto, of course, just went retrograde, the great transformer himself. Jupiter finally finishing up his last days in Piscean energy. This is really pushing us into a brand new chapter of growth, especially where attacking our shadow parts, where it is that we are self-destructive, where it is that we self-sabotage our dreams, our visions, our blessings is concerned. Pluto over the next 5 months is definitely going to push the boundaries of us facing the darkest parts of ourselves in order to make that inner transformation that is definitely needed before we are going to see those changes actually manifest in our physical realm. We're building towards the first quarter moon in Leo this month. Definitely a good time to become a monthly moon subscriber. This is going to give you the manifesting stages with the phase of the moon and, of course, the moon guides to accompany all the moon phases as they are released. Now, this first quarter moon is a time of action. And in Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, we are definitely standing in a brand new power. We are more expressive. We are ready to fight for what it is that our heart and soul desires. And this is going to unleash the bold and brave energy, the strength, the courage of the lion in order for us to actually advocate for ourselves, stand up for ourselves, and declare what it is that we need to see in our lives in order to feel better about the energy exchanges that currently aren't fair. Mercury's going to go retrograde this month. Of course, Mercury entered into its shadow period on April 26th, stepped into the place of power, the place of comfort in its rulership in Gemini on the 29th, and Mercury will be going retrograde on the 10th at 4 degrees in Gemini. Now, this is definitely going to slow our mental plane down a bit, definitely put us at odds with the two choices, the two decisions, the two paths that we have unfolding for us to actually decide and adhere to. And Mercury going retrograde is always a time where the past comes up for review. It comes up for renewal. We get to see certain choices, certain decisions that we've made from a different set of eyes. And of course, once we know better, we can do better. On the 10th, we also have Jupiter leaving this Piscean energy, entering into Aries. Jupiter takes 12 years to go through all the signs of the zodiac. And in Pisces energy, not only were we growing in our intuition, our spirit, our soul selves, but we were also ending, purging, releasing a lot of karma, a lot of soul contracts. Now that Jupiter is entering into Aries, the very beginning zodiac energy in the zodiac wheel, this is about initiation. This is about beginnings. We definitely are going to be headstrong. We are going to be very straightforward. We're going to see a growth not only in our identity, the new parts of ourselves that we're embodying, but we're going to see a growth, an expansion on our personal experiences, standing up for ourselves, going after what it is that we want, identifying what it is that our soul self wants us to actually pursue in life. And we're definitely going to get a little bit of that excitement, that passion, that fiery energy back in our soul, back in our spirit. There are multiple major type of astrology bumps, if you will. One of them being Jupiter semi-squaring with Uranus, which will likely shake us up and wake us up to what it is that we actually need to grow and build upon. That's coming at us on the 11th. The 11th is a master number day, so we are going to feel that potency, but it is the day after Mercury going retrograde and Jupiter moving into Aries. So we can definitely expect things to feel shaky, to feel a little bit overwhelming. And of course, we have to assume that the ascension symptoms will accompany those high vibrational energies that are now going to be shifting in our cosmos. On the 16th, we continue this eclipse energy with a full moon, total lunar eclipse, taking place at 25 degrees in Scorpio. Of course, the true nodes of the moon are on this Taurus and Scorpio axis until 2023, giving us a lot of opportunities to let go of the shadow parts of ourselves, let go of the things that we are fixated on, that we're overly attached to create a space for the new elements to be built. The Scorpio energy is water energy, highly emotional, definitely looking to dabble into the shadow work. We are definitely looking to take the dark parts of ourselves, of our experience, turn them into a source of power. Of course, to create a space for that Taurus energy to build the brand new elements in our lives that we need in order to feel safe and secure, to feel better about ourselves, about our relationships, about our money matters. So this is going to be a lot of energy to deal with on the 16th. And we are definitely going to start feeling that eclipse energy now that we've entered into eclipse season. Again, it's a wild card energy. Expect the unexpected and understand that the universe is not doing things to you. It's doing things for you. On the 20th, we enter into Gemini season. We're definitely going to feel the mental pressure. We're definitely going to have an overload of information. Now, Mercury, who rules over Gemini, will be retrograde at this time, kind of asleep at the wheel, if you will, taking the back seat to that driver's situation where we're kind of unconscious. We're kind of in a dreamland. We have to reflect back. There's a lot of things from our past popping up for a second look, a second review. But the sun moving into Gemini is definitely going to amplify the amount of information that we have to reprocess, review, revisit, revise, all of those words coming with that retrograde. And of course, Pluto's in a retrograde too, doing a number on the inner transformation deep in our psyche, deep in our heart space, so that we are prepared for the major shift, the major change, the major transformations coming at us in our physical realm. The sun in Gemini is always illuminating for us. One foot in the ego, one foot in the spirit. One part really supporting our mental plane, the other part supporting our heart space. We are kind of posed with extreme choices, extreme decisions, extreme points of view in order for us to battle it out and find a common ground. We have the last quarter moon at 1 degree in Pisces on the 22nd. This is going to be a full release, a full surrender to not only the things that kind of got brought up in our shadow selves, in our karmic contracts in Piscean season, but just this last week of April, we had all of these planets in Piscean energy creating a stellium, creating a very heavy force of release, of surrender as we close out certain karmic contracts and prepare to jump into new ones. This last quarter moon is going to be a full circle illumination of some of the topics and themes that began for us halfway through April, and really kind of applying the pressure on what it is that we do not have control over. Again, we're in eclipse season, and what it is that we need to surrender to, trusting the greater, grander plan, the greater, grander process of the universe. On the 22nd, also a master number, we have Mercury going retrograde, creeping back into Taurus energy. This is kind of where we get the blinders put back on, where we have to get fixated, where we have to get focused on what it is that needs to be rebuilt. Of course, the time spent in Gemini energy was going to illuminate to us the revision that is needed to some of the choices, some of the decisions that we would have made. Now, with Mercury kind of moving back into that fixed Earth energy, we're really going to have to focus on what isn't working so well, what we need to revise, what it is that needs to be reorganized, restructured. This is the second redo that we get to tackle certain ideas, certain visions, certain dreams, certain concepts that maybe didn't unfold the way that we wanted them to when Mercury was in Taurus back in April. On the 24th, we have Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, if need be, moving into Aries, his place of power. So Mars has been in Piscean energy, really kind of stunting the actual growth, the actual productivity, the actual actions that we were able to take in our physical realm, because this Piscean energy was more emotional. It was more about really kind of sitting back and allowing Mars to be a little bit more passive aggressive than he would like. Instead of forcing his will, forcing himself, forcing things to happen, he had to sit back and dream. He had to wait until there was this this intuitive impulse, this inspiration that took over in order for him to actually make a move. And many of us did not make a whole lot of physical progress in our realms. Now, that being said, there's been a lot of progress in our inner realms. Now, Mars moving into Aries is going to be a lot of fire. And as we've been experiencing, we've been lacking fire. And anytime the fire comes out to play, we have to be very careful that we do not get burned. Mars in Aries is going to teach us a lot of lessons on what it is that we're actually excited about, what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we want to pursue, where it is that we are rebuilding our egoic identity, who it is that we now are, what it is that we now align with. It gives us a passion, a desire to stand up for ourselves, to really step into our power and authority to make things happen. And of course, there are some downsides that we will explore in that astro forecast as we approach the 24th. On the 28th, we have Venus entering into Taurus. Venus rules over Taurus energy, so she is going to be in her place of power and comfort. We definitely get a little bit more grounded out with Venus in Taurus. We definitely get a little bit comfortable. Things are low and slow when it comes to change, when it comes to manifesting, especially when we're trying to make major changes to our physical bodies, to our relationships, to our money matters. But Venus in Taurus is here to teach us a huge lesson in taking care of ourselves, in our own self-worth, our own self-confidence, our own self-esteem, and especially coming out of Venus being in Aries, we would have made a little bit of progress in forcing boundaries to protect ourselves, to be very clear in expressing what it is that we will and will not tolerate moving forward. And now, with Venus moving into Taurus, we get back down to earth. We get to focus on the little things in our life, really where it is that we can pluck out moments of happiness, moments of joy, even in the uncomfortable circumstances that we may be living in. This is going to be a time where we are going to go low and slow, because slow and steady wins the race, but we are going to see a huge amount of growth, a huge amount of productivity take form by the end of Venus's transit in Taurus. And of course, all of this is setting us up for the new moon in Gemini on the 30th at 9 degrees. So the new moon, of course, is the dark phase of the moon. It highlights the not so nice parts of our thoughts, of our feelings. Gemini energy being very focused on the mental plane is definitely going to illuminate some very negative ass narratives that we have to overwrite, that we have to get rid of, that we have to transform into something more encouraging, positive, and loving. The new moon in Gemini is also where we get illuminated to the choice point, the decision point, the two paths that have been emerging for our decision-making abilities, and where we will be locking in one timeline over the other. Now, granted, May is always a little bit of a cray-cray month. A lot of that is due to the planetary position that we're currently at in the cosmos, receiving a lot of higher intellect information from the Pleiadians. This is a time where mostly in May, we are given a choice point on whether or not we're going to stick with the same old, and be satisfied with what it is that we've always got, or where it is that we are willing to step away from the old and stepping closer to the new qualities, the new characteristics that we have to embody in order to launch a brand new timeline that will gift us with the blessings, with the rewards that we're working so freaking hard on actually manifesting. So May is a little bit all over the place. Again, retro season and eclipse season, heavily influencing the back and forth motion that we have to do in order to find a comfort middle point. So that is just the intro. That is just scratching the surface on what it is that we can expect for the month of May. So whenever you're ready, let's jump in. Let's break it down one astro event at a time.